Welcome Shirley, welcome Ankit, welcome Jasir, welcome Shemi, welcome Zarar, welcome Tobilobo, welcome Binish, welcome Perla, welcome Priyanka, welcome Farhan and welcome Chuek and welcome Mansi, welcome Girish, welcome Shashindra, welcome Kushagra, and welcome Sakshi. Dream, and as you dream, know that only you can bring your dreams come true. Dream big, aim high, start small. Start very small that you can focus on it, and start very small that all your attention can be focused on it, and start very small. It will be very easy for you to master it. Kabir here, a dreamer on a journey to reach to 100 million startups. You're on the high performance entrepreneurship series, and today we have something very special for all the entrepreneurs out there, that is negotiations. And today is our 19th day. This 100-day series is also a part of understanding how one can be in his discipline. Give it a try and you will make wonders. Dear brothers and sisters, welcome to my show. And with me, I have a special person today who is a successful communications coach. She does a magic with all of them who want to speak. Great mentor. We have been friends for years. And she helps the entrepreneur in you to be that confident and impactful speaker. I would love to call Jyotika Shetty to the stage. Jyotika, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much, Kabir. Thank you for that wonderful introduction and a very good morning to everyone present here today. We have a whole lot of audience joining us, and that is amazing. A very good morning. Also, good morning to our panelists, Abhishek and Amrut, who are here on special request. Thank you very much. Today, we're going to discuss a very beautiful topic, skillful topic called negotiation skill for entrepreneurs. This topic has always been something that I dreaded personally because negotiation is something that can turn tricky when when you're actually on a negotiation table. The last time I had some lessons that I learned was when I did my MBA about 7 years back. That was something that was dreadful. But since then, I've realized that every stage in our life is a negotiation, whether you're in a personal life or professional life. So, welcome to this session on negotiation skill for entrepreneurs. As I've mentioned, that negotiation is an essential skill for anyone in business world, but it holds particular significance for entrepreneurs. In the competitive landscape of entrepreneurship, effective negotiation can be the difference between the success and failure of your ventures. Today, we have gathered here to explore and develop the art of negotiation, tailored specifically to the unique challenges and opportunities that entrepreneurs face. Whether you're a seasoned business owner or just starting your entrepreneurial journey, the ability to negotiate effectively can impact your ability to secure funding, establish partnerships, close deals, and ultimately grow your business. In this session, we will discuss strategies and tactics that can help you achieve your goals and share real world examples of successful negotiations by entrepreneurs. We'll also touch upon the importance of building relationships, understanding your counterpart's perspective, and adapting to different negotiation styles. Our goal today is to equip you with the knowledge, skills, and confidence needed to navigate the complex world of business negotiation. Before I move forward, I'd like to just remind all our audience to please feel free to connect with each other because the whole point of this particular series is to build your network and get better at what you're doing. So, this is a part of our high performance entrepreneur series, and we are up on an audacious task of building 100 audio events. So this is one of them, and I'm so glad to start off with. So before we embark, I have given you the ground rules of connecting with each other, but some more ground rules just get you acquainted how we actually operate. This is a 1 hour session that's going to take place for the next 60 minutes. And what we're going to do is, for the first 30 minutes, we'll be talking to our panelists with certain questions, and they'll shed their light with their experience and practical examples. You're free to raise your hand and join the panel. However, the floor will be open for discussion after 30 minutes. So if any one of you would like to join the panel, please feel free to raise your hand now or while we are in discussion. I'll give you next 5 seconds to raise your hand so you can be joining us in the panel. Right. We have a full house today and it really feels so good. I cannot particularly call each one of you and name each of you, but welcome to each of you who have joined us. Karthik, Ravi, Vibha, Salim, Abdul, Gina, warm welcome to everyone who has joined us. So let's embark on this journey now, and together let's discover the art of negotiation for entrepreneurs. We have an expert speaker, two speakers actually with us today, who will share insights and practical tips. And we encourage you to actively participate, ask questions, and engage in discussion to make the most of this session. Remember, negotiation is not just a skill, it's a valuable asset that can unlock countless opportunities for your business. Our first speaker today is our multi talented Amrut Bhatt. Hey Amrut, warm welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Amrut is a sales and communications coach, India's #1 drum circle facilitator, world record holder, TEDx speaker who has conducted over 3,500 events and over 200,000 participants in India and abroad. He has worked with renowned brands like Tata, Amazon, Mumbai Indians, Microsoft, Intel, HP, Star Sports, Z Cinema, Star TV, Bajaj, and many more. Oh, that's a lot, Amrut. You are indeed our celebrity today. A warm welcome once again.
Thank you so much.
The next in our panel, we have someone whom I've known for some time now. He's none other than a man who wears many hats. He's a personal excellence coach, an entrepreneur, business mentor, strategy consultant, keynote speaker, author, and profound networker. Hi, Abhishek. A warm welcome.
Hi, Jyotika. Thanks for taking me on the panel.
Right. Abhishek is a founder, MD, and CEO of Humanix Minds Enrichers. He is a certified life coach with a proven track record of nearly 30 years of building organizations, managing profit centers, and running businesses in diverse industries, coupled with a passion for building high performance, multifunctional teams that makes him unique in this field. He has transformed 15 businesses and ignited dormant abilities in over 5,000 people worldwide, enabling them to discover and awaken their true inherent potential. Few brands that he's worked with or he's been associated with is Aran Baxi, Zydus, Orchid Chemicals, Educational Initiatives, Bajaj Alliance, Ing Life or ING Life, Apollo Hospitals Group, 1MG. That's a lot of laurels, Abhishek, and it really is indeed my pleasure to welcome both of you, Amrut and Abhishek, to the panel. And I really look forward for an enriching discussion today on this beautiful topic of negotiation. I'd also like to welcome our panel, our audience who have joined us here, Toby Lobo, Sakshi, and Jasir. A warm welcome to the panel. While you continue to hear us, I'd just like to give you a heads up that we'll be opening the floor in another about 30 minutes. So please stay on with us and we will start our discussions a little later. So let me begin with Amrut. Now that negotiation is something that people really look forward to and some of them find it very, very difficult. Especially I was one of those examples where I found negotiation was very, very challenging. Now, Amrut, I'll ask you this question. Can you share an example of a negotiation challenge that you have personally faced or could be faced by an entrepreneur and how to overcome it?
Well, the major challenge that I faced during the initial part of my career was the way I defined negotiations. It was all about bargaining. But of course, you learn, you read, and my definition of negotiation changed just from reducing cost to really looking at the process, the whole process, since when we create the product till the time we deliver it, and even post delivery. So the major challenge was the definition of negotiation. And then when it changed from just bargaining to creating a process where we can both look at the picture together and possibly create a win-win, everything changed for me. So the major challenge was the definition, and then later it all changed for good.
Yes, indeed. I think negotiation is the best negotiation is always a win-win situation for both parties, right, Amrut?
Yep, totally.
Right. But when they face challenges, how do you actually overcome it? When there are challenges that you face when you negotiate, let me talk about, I think, trust. All right. In a world of entrepreneurship, trust is crucial. Now, how do you actually maintain that trust so that your negotiation with the counterpart uh, goes smoothly?
Well, I feel the best way to negotiate or to basically keep trust intact is to be on the side of your customer and be honest with the consequences. What majorly happens is we end up talking about the result and never the process. And you will hear me repeating the word process over and over again because let's take an example, right? When we sign a contract with a client, we always focus on the end result, but we never tell the customer as to what will they go through, what would be the process like. Do we have any hidden costs? Do we have terms and conditions that they need to be aware of? So to build trust, I think complete honesty straight from the process till the conclusion has to be there. And again, if the customer expresses certain anxiety, then you have to ensure that you address that and not just focus on your side of the deal.
Right. Trust, I think, is important in anything and everything that you do in as an entrepreneur or generally in life, especially when you negotiate, because the moment your customer feels that you're not trustworthy, I think the entire negotiation fizzles out.
Oh, yeah,
Well,
for
thank you,
sure.
Amrit. Thank you for your input on that. Let's move on to Abhishek now. Abhishek, you've been in the industry or in the sales domain for nearly 27 years, right? Can
Yes.
you just highlight some of your experiences, those rare experiences where you really had to, you know, get your negotiation skills to the high to actually get the deal done?
Yeah, so as rightly said by Amrit, the process is the key because ultimately the trust that you build is with more of transparency about your product offerings, the value that you create, and many a times the challenge that comes with salespeople is they in the bargain, to get the deal in the bargain, they overcommit and underdeliver. So that's the reverse because you may get a client once, but you will lose many more deals that would be coming in the process in a long run. But so instead of looking at short term, look at a long term deal where you undercommit, over deliver, understand your product. So if you're someone is belittling your product or your offering, you need to stay strong. You need to first of all use your product knowledge, and your offerings should be very thoroughly clear to you, and you cannot take things for granted. So your homework should be very strong. And another major aspect that probably even Amrit would agree is understanding the customer's need. So you need to be a very good listener before you pitch in a solution. So listening skills is very crucial to a negotiation process.
I agree, Abhishek. I want to add something to this. Can you? I always ask this question to myself: can I sit on the side of the customer, and if we both hold a canvas, a blank canvas, would we both draw the same picture? And if you can do that, you have one majority, the major element of negotiation. So I agree with you, Abhishek. You got to know what the customer really wants, but you should be able to draw the exact same picture, if not completely accurate, but at least what they would need. Because need becomes extremely vague sometimes. It's pretty ambiguous. So yeah.
So I think,
Yeah. So
right, yes, Abhishek, please go ahead.
yeah, continue. Yes.
So, both Abhishek and Amrut have highlighted some key skills that are required when it comes to negotiation, right? Understanding customer needs is one. That is, I think, the first and foremost. What are the other skills that you think would be uh, useful if you include it in your toolkit?
With respect to negotiation, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So one definitely has to be the way you communicate the whole deal. Is your language simple? Is your contract easy to understand? One, simple, very important. Second, are you honest about the consequences? Are you okay if the customer walks away without like ensuring that they are not harmed? That is second. Third, do you keep your contract above the customer, or do you keep the customer above your contract? If you have these three things in place, that can be a solid foundation for you to really work towards a good negotiation. What do you think, Abhishek?
Yeah, I think bang on, Amrut. So another aspect to this, because as rightly said by Amrut, there's another aspect to it is before you actually get into a negotiation, you should always be aware of what could be the best possible consequences and worst possible consequences when you are getting into a negotiation, and you should have your lines very clear. Understanding the customer needs, offering the solutions, and then beginning the discussion. So you need to know what should be the benchmark that you should be setting, but you should not go beyond your means to negotiate and clinch the contract. Otherwise, what happens is in the long run, the relationship with one customer goes bad. It can affect you badly in the entire chain of negotiations with other customers, because one customer one is many more one, because he can become a word of mouth referral. He can give you many more references of the peer industry and other things. So you need to have the value of your product is important, but you cannot overrule or oversee your customers needs, and think that you need to value the customer more rather than valuing your contract. You may not get a contract from a customer, but in a bargain over a period of time, because not necessarily the customer may be won in the first negotiation. Many times they take their own time. It's a process again. It takes a life cycle. Every customer's needs may not be immediate. So there are various considerations that you need to be there. So, and you need to be sensitive to the customer's needs, and not always focus only on clinching the deal at come what may kind of a thing.
You know, Abhishek, this reminds me of Chris was the term tactical empathy, right? That is the best, the most easiest thing that you can always go back to as a reference. Tactical empathy. Are you really looking forward to help the customer, or is it just about yourself? So, Jyotika, if I had to revert on the lines of exact skills that you would need, it would
Yeah.
definitely be presentation skills where you are vocal about what's going to happen, how is it going to look like. Then you would want to have empathy towards listening, because you generally get anxious. You know what, I want to do this, but yes, I'm listening to you, but I'm going to do it my way. And ultimately, patience. So if you can really combine these three basic elements, you can do a lot with that.
Right. Well said, Amrit and Abhishek. So, presentation skill, yes. Empathy, patience, these two are the pearls of wisdom or the skills that you need to have. Also, I think honesty is something that goes a long way. And well, like Abhishek mentioned, be sensitive to their requirement, but don't overrule it. That's very well said. Now, I'd like to ask Abhishek, you mentioned about preparing for the role, right? Abhishek Amruth, I think it was Abhishek who mentioned preparing for the role. Now, how exactly can someone prepare for the role of a successful negotiation? Because sometimes you really don't know the customer well, right? You may be put in a situation where you do not have a lot of friends around. You probably could be one or two people representing your company. So, how exactly prepare, or what kind of preparation should be made?
Yeah, so various ways. Basically, when you're getting into a call, before that, when you're getting to, if you do not have a friend, then now with the technology being there, you can go through, probably glance through the LinkedIn profile and any other options that you find on LinkedIn or the social media. What exactly the company does, what the particular person, if you are probably able to get the name of the person you're going to deal with, who is the key decision maker or who is one of the key decision makers, get to know the profile, get to see if you can gather some information about the what kind of a person he is or she is, and see what is exactly been their journey. Do they come with a what exactly has been their journey in their life? So whether they are born entrepreneurs or they have grown their ranks, because with that you get a lot of insight basically on the mindset of the person who you are going to deal with. So suppose someone who is a third generation, second generation entrepreneur comes with a preconceived business mindset, but someone who has grown ranks and then he started his own as an entrepreneur knows odds of the industry, and he has probably grown ranks, and he has probably done similar kind of negotiations to clinch better deals, and then see that yes, probably there are certain solutions which no one else can offer, which I can offer, and find a place. So you get to understand the way these both the different personalities would look at. So similarly, when you are getting into a discussion, find as much information possible either through uh, internet or through your friends. And as you rightly said, there are many things that you can also look at even before meeting, because when you are going to be getting into a meeting, there are a lot of signals that you get within the office or the discussion room of the person. Because when you're getting in, you can you need to be very very friendly with the staff, need to see if you can get some uh, relevant information from the staff of the team. So get into discussions, and do not just sit there that okay, I'm waiting for the chairman or MD or the GM, VP, whosoever the person is, and you're just looking at your laptop or a mobile. Rather, try to interact with as many people before you get into the situation, so that you can make some preconceived idea of what the negotiation is going to go towards. And obviously, product information and other things is very, very crucial, because if you are able to understand what product offering you are going to give, what could be the permutation combinations the other person may be demanding or may be looking for, that information is very, very critical.
Right. So getting some information about the product, that the offering itself, and understanding the background of the client is very important to put your point across, right, Abhishek?
Yes.
Now, Amrut, in line with what Abhishek mentioned, sometimes preparation also can backfire. You go with a certain mindset and certain assumption, whereas the reality could be a little different. Have you been in such situations?
Well, yeah, I'm going to give a lot of art reference today because that's my background. So that you know what I'm so glad you mentioned that. When I was thinking about preparation, I have a slightly different approach. What happens is, as soon as you get into the preparation mode, you will automatically build anxiety for your own self. And then your fight and flight is going to kick in. And when you enter the room, you will already have 500 things in your head. And believe me, it's not going to be a great conversation. Now, I use the word conversation instead of negotiation on purpose, because I want you to start looking at negotiations as conversations. So if I had to break this down into 3 steps, I want all of you to go ahead next time whenever you are going to get into a conversation, a business conversation. Don't tag it as negotiation. Let's go ahead and look at it as an art workshop or an improv comedy workshop. If I don't know how many of you have seen. Have you ever, guys? Have you ever seen improv comedy? If the answer is maybe you can react in the chat or with something with heart or whatever, with a thumbs up or with, oh, I see. Okay, we see Vanessa reacting. We see some more people as well. Brilliant. So in case if you have seen improv comedy, you don't go with any assumption at all. First, it's important that you win this particular deal, so that you win the particular angle, because you got to be less anxious. So have no assumption. Walk in with a completely blank canvas. Now, as soon as you walk in with completely blank canvas, all the conversations that you will see will become pretty comfortable. You will see that happening at your end. And remember, when it comes to stage theory, I generally tell people that your state of mind is your audience's state of mind. If you're going to be anxious, they will automatically get anxious to some degree, even if they are the customers. All right. So when you are comfortable, they are comfortable. Second, if you want to win a negotiation, you need to know the maximum that you can. The most crucial thing is to know maximum that you can. And the only way to do that would be to ask and let them draw their picture on that canvas. The more you understand the picture, the better opportunity you would have to make a customized approach, or you know what, you'll end up selling more than what you would have expected. So walk with no expectation, let them draw the picture the way they like, and then give them a very precise solution. This way you respect their time, you have given something that they really want, and you know what, people feel cared at the end of the day. So if you follow these 3 steps properly, walk in with a blank canvas, let them draw it for you, and go ahead and help with a precise solution. I think, Jyotika, then you can solve a lot of problems for your customer.
Yes, Amrut, very well said. I think ask. That is a point that most of us miss, is we do not ask the relevant and enough questions to get the information. We assume about certain situations and we create our own stories, and that's where the negotiation can go bad. So thank you very much, Amrut and Abhishek, on shedding light on this important aspect. Now, I've been in business for the last 24 years, and there have been certain, I've seen unethical practices also while negotiating. So, you probably already, as sales trainers and sales, someone who's been in the sales domain, you probably have seen certain unethical or off limit negotiations in the entrepreneurial context. So, is there any tactics or techniques that you consider unethical or off limits? Amrut, we can start with you.
Well, I think the most unethical thing that I've seen people doing, and because I've been in situations where we have seen tenders being submitted, is just going and trying to do a favor for them first, as if you're gonna serve the individuals representing the organization first, trying to give them offers which are complete, which looks like a bribe, to be honest with you. So one thing which is unethical is to basically try to serve the individual first than the whole purpose. That's one major element. Secondly, I've seen people trying to invite the party for a party before the actual party happens. That is something that doesn't really work. That always backfires. And gifting, directly, indirectly giving them something without realizing the fact that a lot of organizations have an anti-bribery law that's implemented in their company. Imagine if you're talking to someone at a certification body, that would backfire big time. So trying to gift innocently is extremely unethical. Trying to invite for a party even before the real party happens, is extremely unethical according to me. And then trying to favor the individual than the entire purpose is unethical, is what I've realized.
Right. Well said, Amrut. I think we have to really know or have patience before the real party begins, isn't it?
Yeah, Jyotika, I have something to share. I remember,
Yes.
so my father, when he used to work, so he had gone to meet a commissioner, all right, a police commissioner. And so during those days, they had this, those days, people were not that worried about the element of ethics and stuff like that. So as a gesture, they would give a company pen, right? A company branded pen with the person's name on it. It's a pen would be 100, $200. My father presented that, and the commissioner slid it back right at him. He's like, you know what? That's bribe. I know you're giving it with a lot of love and respect. I appreciate it, but can't take it. So yeah, it can be as small as a pen, guys.
Well, yeah, I've experienced that too, Amrut, to be very honest. In my corporate career, where obviously I don't want to give out the details, but this is something this is something that has happened. And what actually came into the rescue is my own ethical values that I had, whether to accept it or not. Also, the organization values, because we had some clear definition of what to accept and what not to accept. So when these things are clarified and the culture within the organization is explicitly mentioned and nurtured, I think this also becomes very clear to the organization as far as the signal that you give out is concerned. Now to Abhishek. Abhishek, you again been in this industry for a long time. When do you know that, I'm talking on the entrepreneur's point of view, all right? When should an entrepreneur know it's time to walk away from a negotiation? And what factors should they consider in making that decision?
See, as an entrepreneur, so as I mentioned in the previous one of the points that I made, you need to know your boundaries. What is the worst case scenario? What is the best case scenario? Any negotiation that is taking you below your worst case scenario. So because worst case scenario for an entrepreneur would be either the deal would actually make him put him into losses, or there would be a monetary or a non-monetary drop, or there is going to be a commitment that they are going to give, which they may probably not be able to deliver. So the demand that the customer is asking for may go beyond what service or what offerings you have. And it is, even if you try your best, you may not be able to meet those demands, and it may bring a possibility of failures is higher than what you make. And if you are offering, suppose you are a startup and you are a new entrant into the market, and you want to have your first deal with some good brand, you need to be very clear what expectation setting you are putting for the industry. Because if you are giving your services at a throwaway price just to understand that, okay, let me first, you become desperate to get a deal. What happens is the industry is very well connected. So if you to raise your price or to come back to your break even point also becomes very difficult, because you never know the next deal that you're going to negotiate would probably be connected to this person, or knows this previous company that you worked with, that what price you offered, what services you offered. So it is going to replicate or multiply. So are you in a situation to sustain that kind of a monetary loss or a commitment that you probably will be walking on a tightrope? And if you cannot, then you should always look at walking away rather than clinching it, because otherwise it is going to bring not only a challenge for you in this contract, but it will also multiply multifold in the coming negotiations with other organizations or other clients that you may going to get into. So I'll give you an example from a health tech industry firm, because I worked with one of those, and we were actually offering corporate health checks to major companies for their entire employees across the country. And the challenge that we saw was because the sales team was very bent upon getting bigger contracts, because big brands with 10,000, 20,000 employees are big fishes for making big money. So the sales teams, and again, the challenge was we were a health tech company which was tied up with service providers, and we were the mediators between. So we were actually taking the orders and getting it serviced through someone else. So the challenge that we saw, actually what happened was a deal was signed between our sales team and a major pharma brand for their health checks of their 10,000 employees across 27 locations, where they committed the reports to a tune of the timelines that even the service provider directly doing it could not have done. And then they overcommitted on the number of copies of reports that they will be getting. So basically, if you look at a simple example of ECG, no service provider can give a client ECG in two copies. It has to be only single copy. But our people committed two copies of ECG, one to the patient or the employee, and one to the organization. And similarly, many more reports with the soft copy, hard copy, and everything within a time frame which even the service delivery person could not have done. The organization, that is our channel partner, could not have done. So had this deal not been done, it would have been profitable. Rather, probably we could have got some other discussion or some other negotiation on some other deal with this organization. But this went on in such a way that it ate away into a major part. We had to set up a different office altogether to match the pace that we were committed, and it was not small numbers. It was 10,000 employees. So almost 3 months we wasted only on this project. And at that time, unfortunately, I was not in the sales. I was actually heading the back-end delivery of the entire thing. So I had to actually put a full 35, 40 people with Xerox machines outsourced and everything for the duplicate reports to be created. So that's where you need to know what can be done, what cannot be done, and what is actually a deal which is going to be a long-term benefit, and what you should, where you should cut off and say that this is not possible. Probably we will look at some other discussion or some other negotiation from you.
Right. I think if you don't do that, then you have to pay a heavy price like your organization paid, right, Abhishek?
Yeah, so 35 people and 25 Xerox machine outsourced for just for duplicating the reports.
Okay. All right.
For 60 days.
That's a big cost.
Big cost. So rather than making losses, and again, the challenge came as not only that, because again, you will not be able to match the timelines that you are committing. So the organization is not happy where you have committed. You are not happy because you are incurring heavy losses on the project, and your management is not happy about it, and the market is getting the information that probably this organization cannot deliver what they promise. So always it is there is no chance of a win-win in any situation in this space.
Right. So on those lines, I have a question for Amrut. But before that, let me welcome all the audience who have just joined us. We're so happy to see all of you here to listen to all of us for this important topic on negotiation. And I'm sure you will enjoy it. So stay with us. Feel free to connect with each other, because that's the way you grow yourself and your community. So I have a question for Amrut in the lines that we just spoke. Now, are there any key negotiation strategies that every entrepreneur should have? Abhishek just gave us a live example of his own personal example. So, are there any strategies that we can learn or think of?
Before I share that with you, I actually have a 5 step process. I call it the 5 step walk away process for everybody here. These are just 5 lines, 5 questions that you need to ask yourself before you say yes or no to a deal. So if you got a pen and a paper handy, just grab it and write these 5 lines, and you never have to worry about any other way of approaching a situation. One, you got to ask yourself, is this really my customer? Do I really want to work with this party? If the answer is maybe, that means the answer is no, because you got to know what your TG is. Number one. Second, can I make this transaction 10 more times? Will my business be okay if I do this deal 10, 20, 30 more times? So you got to ask that question. If the answer is no, say a nice goodbye and wait for them to come back with a better deal for yourself. Third, am I making profit? Because that's the only fuel on which the ship of your organization is going to run. If you're not going to make profits, I understand sometimes you have to chop that off a little, but if it is not making money for you, don't waste your time and energy on it, because that's not your TG. Then the second last question is, will this harm my reputation from a brand or a cost standpoint? We all strive as entrepreneurs to reach to a specific market price, and when we reach that particular price, you got to fight for your hourly rate. That's what I generally state. So ensure that you ask yourself, will this harm my market reputation in any form or fashion? Because once your extremely discounted rate is out there, everyone is going to know, and it's going to be difficult for you to come back to your normal numbers. Then finally ask yourself, am I treated respectfully in this deal? It's important that you are treated well as well, because it's not the only part. You're one of the major elements of the puzzle for this particular thing to be successful. So if you can ask these 5 questions to yourself, I'm sure you'll have the answer whether you would want to be in the deal or walk away from it. Now, to answer key strategies on negotiation, I think let's talk about price, Jyotika. What do you think? Should we talk about pricing? I think that should be
Yes,
a good
yes,
one.
Amrut, that should be
Yeah.
good.
So what I have generally seen is there is an extreme amount. So let's talk about culture a little, because there is an extreme amount of anxiety when it comes to people asking for a discount. In the sense, when you are someone who's trying to sell something, and if you are asked for a discount, you're like, nah, I don't want to give it. No, 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 no. Why are you asking for a discount? People are going to ask for a discount because that's fair on their part. All right. People just automatically go, no, you know what? You should not be asking for discount. Ask for something else. Ask for my birth date maybe. Makes no sense. So first, ensure that you have enough markup, enough margin to give at least 2 discounts. Jyotika, what happens with us when we do a lot of social events, because we perform at weddings. So we have a team of 9 facilitators who go to weddings and all. In India, there is something called as Manka discount. Manka discount is basically a discount on someone's respect. It's pretty funny, people asking for like कि थोड़ा मान का मुझे 10,000 कम कर दो. What is मान का? It makes no sense. All right, this is just an emotional tactic. So remember, you got to have some markup, and please present the number directly. If you offer something online, yes, people are now, even we are offering a discount upfront and then showing a number. We all know what the actual number is. It just works for people. So one, have a specific number that can bear at least 2 discounts. Now, when you give the first discount, if you do give one, always try to close on the higher number. You got to make money. You got to sustain your team. You got to feed your team. It has to grow. All of that has to happen. Now, when you give your first discount, let that be a decently big chunk. Let's say, for example, you got $10 that you can give away as discount. Give them a good $6 or $7 and then try to close the deal. All right. And then I'm pretty sure they're going to ask for some more. And if you still have the opportunity, give them $3. You still have $1 left. And then finally come to that last $1. Please remember, each time you give a discount, you got to request to close the deal. Now, what's going to happen is it's going to be difficult for the customer to even deny the fact, because they have now received 3 favors instead of 1. I know it takes a lot of time. It will consume a lot of your energy when you do this to and fro. You can always be someone like take it or leave it kind of a situation. But if you have 3 layers of discount that you can give, people generally feel that they have received enough favors and they will start playing on your side. So you have enough discounts to be given. And by the way, Once you reach a specific number that you can't go beyond, be okay walking away from that deal. Now, if you are someone who can't give discounts at all, let that be explained, or let that be expressed at the beginning of the deal itself, that if you want to work with us, this is what it's going to cost, and then tell them about the process. So this is going to be a great strategy. I know I spoke about discounting a little, but I think from a pricing standpoint, you got to have at least 2 to 3 opportunities to give discount. What do you think, Jyotika, Abhishek?
Yes, Samruddh, definitely. And I think I'm so happy that you brought up this aspect of price, because I'm sure our audience also would like to listen to that, because objection is something, the next thing that I want to talk about. And when it comes to price, there are a lot of objections, and while negotiating, they find it difficult to handle it. So can you touch upon a few objections and how to actually maneuver our way around?
Oh, the most favorite objection, that's everyone's favorite, and I am sure we all use it on people who we purchase stuff from, is this is very expensive. Okay, everyone in the reaction button, if you can just show me with a clap or a heart that you are someone who has received this is very expensive, or you are too expensive. I see Vanessa, I see Aniket as well, I see Mohammed as well. Yes, so a lot of us, Ankita as well, Karthik as well. Brilliant. So a lot of us have faced this very common objection called you are too expensive. The best way to handle that objection is to accept the fact that you are expensive and tell them why you're expensive. What is going to generally happen is, as soon as someone tells you you are expensive, you're automatically going to go defensive and say, oh, you know what, this is the reason why we charge so much. No, you are there to provide a service and you are charging a specific amount for it. Let the process be spoken enough. And in the world of improv comedy, it's called yes anding. You accept the fact and you move ahead and explain as to why are they going to pay so much for this particular thing. So instead of being defensive, next time someone tells you you are expensive, accept the fact that you are expensive. And you know what, all of us here selling a service or a product, we are aware as to why are we selling a product or a service at a specific price, and you are the one who decides the cost for your price. So be strong about it. Have an element of pride that, you know what, yes, I am expensive, and so and so is the reason. So I feel this is the best way to handle the most common objection, you are too expensive. What do you guys think? Abhishek, Jyotika, over to you.
Yeah, I think
Abhishek, yes.
absolutely, because many times, and particularly when you look at the price war that happens, whether it's FMCG, whether it's pharma, the pricing is, or even if you look at coaching training industry, many of the people who would be facing, or social media marketing, these industries all have a steep price variation, and someone who offers a holistic approach always is on a higher price point, because they care about the customer and they give you a better outcome into your what offerings you're giving. Whereas you will find various people who would be offering a very low price and they would be competing just to get a deal, and that becomes a challenge. So, but if you are sure and you know what value you are going to add, you need to be very clear and transparent about it, and be very, very upfront, vocal, not feeling defensive about it, like what Amrit just mentioned, that you don't get into a shell and try to defend your stance. Rather, you need to be commanding that value, because you are going to take care and you are going to deliver the results that they are looking at, rather than just do a service and leave it to their fate whether the results are delivered or not, because that's very, very crucial, particularly when we are coming and looking at a value based sales, particularly for the startups, because that's going to build your value not only for the initial immediate need, but that's what you can command in the long run as well. Over to you,
Yes,
Jyotika.
yes, totally. And what I have realized is, both Abhishek and Amrut, is that your mindset is the first thing when you go for a negotiation. You have accepted that you are expensive, you've lost half the battle. So when you focus on the value that you have to offer, then you've already accepted that you're offering value and you're just not offering an expensive product. So I think the first thing is create a mindset that you are there to offer value to the client, and then your negotiation becomes better. So thank you very much, Amrut and Abhishek. Now I will have to open the floor to our audience who are here in the panel. We have Toby Lobo, Sakshi, Jasir, and Shweta here. I'm not very sure who came first, whether it was Sakshi or Toby Lobo. So excuse me if I pick one of you in different order. Let me start with Sakshi. Sakshi, do you have a question for our panelist?
Yeah, sure, ma'am. Thank you, Jyotika, ma'am. So I have a question for Amrit. It's a very conflicting situation or a conflict situations people gave me when it comes to closure. So everything goes very well during the sales process until it comes to closure or pricing wala part. And usually, I think when it comes to negotiation skills, you have to use both of your IQ and EQ. While negotiating with a client or a customer. But usually what happens, I feel that my subjectively, personally, my EQ is never balanced, and I feel, oh, they have certain amount and how could they pay. So I guess that I don't know that whether it's a good part or a bad part, my EQ overpowers my IQ. So I just want to know from you, Amrit, what is the actual thing? Like, we should be really empathize, or it should be like while the sales we should be proper professional.
Brilliant question, Sakshi. Sakshi, it's called art of negotiation for a reason. One, you got to be creative. It has to be ever evolving, and you need to have fun at the end of the day. Imagine you are going with one of your relative to buy a sari. Let's take a random example, right? So you're going to go and buy a sari. What's automatically going to happen is you're going to be on their side, their team. You suddenly will switch on to their side, and you will see your EQ, which is actually a great tool, an essential tool for negotiation, will start contributing for a bigger cause. So from now on, instead of expecting the transaction to happen, go with the point of view that, you know what, let's make this situation happen together. Let's resolve this together. And of course, I'm going to get paid later, but let's focus on helping you here. So as soon as you use all that emotional quotient to help the customer, you know what, let's try to resolve this together, you will automatically see your anxiety will reduce tremendously. What's happening right now is, of course, you got to pay bills, right? We all have this pressure of paying bills. We got to score our numbers. Everything is true, you can't deny that. The best approach would be to switch from wanting to sell to wanting to help. So if you can just automatically go on that side. No, I have Farhan also from my team, and we worked really hard to change our attitude as well about good 7 8 years ago. You know what, let's try to help this person, and it's okay if you deny, but I'm going to make my best effort. So see, if you do this, I'm pretty confident your bargaining is going to be super comfortable, because they will love your presence in the system, that, you know what, she wanted to help us. I'm going to give the opportunity to her, and people will make special provisions for you as well. What do you think about this, Sakshi?
All right, Sakshi, I think I hope it answers your question. I'll have to move on to the other speakers as well, as we just have about 20 minutes left or even lesser. Now, Sakshi, you're
Thanks,
okay with
Amrit.
it?
Thanks,
Or,
Jyotika,
right?
ma'am.
Oh,
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
welcome.
sure,
You're
Amrit.
welcome.
Yeah.
All right, let's move to Toby Lobo here. Toby Lobo, do you have a question for our panelist?
Um, Thank you for giving me the mic. Truly, I don't have any question, but let me just use maybe 60 seconds to, amplify what they've really been sharing on this space. When we're talking about negotiation, it's one of the things we've been doing for a while too. And there's one thing that Ambrose, I hope I pronounce your name correctly, that you said that you're moving from the place of being salesy to helping people. When you let people know that you are helping, show, don't tell. Show that you are interested in what they need to get. Some of people, they only just want to sell. Some people don't even understand what they sell. They don't understand how it helps. When you come from the standpoint of, oh, this is how I get help you to go from where you are now. When you opt in for my program, when you buy my product, when you hire me as somebody who's to work with you, this is where I will take you to. Some people are not confident. They are not very sure that what they have, and that's one of the reasons you face the kind of objection when whereby they give you, or they ask you for discounts, and you have been skeptical about what to do. You let them see that if you opt in for what I do, and you implement what I'm going to tell you, and you do all I am going to tell you to do, you will go from here to this place. Most of the times I actually give guarantee of refunds to my client. Why? Because I'm very sure that if I hold you from here now to this place, I'm very certain that what I'm going to give you will take you to the next level. Do you understand? So we should be very, very sure of who we are helping. And not everyone that is your client. Do you understand the fact that everyone is not your client? When you're able to narrow down, you'll be able to understand who your client is, you will be able to sell effectively and you'll be able to negotiate effectively. I think just a couple of weeks ago, this woman from the US, and I needed to help her to do something, and I charged her just $100. And in between, she said, okay, can she pay $75? Okay, you could. And if you're able to do this, you're able to achieve this, you can see if you want to hire me the next time. I'm not going to be giving you, but this time around, being the first time, you can go for it. And she went for it. And she came back with testimony, and she even referred more people. Do you understand? When you're able to deliver on promise, sales will be very good and you'll be able to negotiate effectively. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak.
Thank you, Toby Lobo. Well said. I totally agree that not everyone is your client and you have to be mindful of that. Thank you. Let's move to Jasir Alavi. Jasir, do you have a question, or maybe you can take the next 60 seconds to ask your question or feedback? Jasir, are you there? Right, till he comes back, let's move on to Coach Shweta. Shweta, you can unmute yourself.
Hi, can you hear?
Hi.
Can you listen?
Yes,
Can you hear
yes,
me?
Shweta. Please go ahead.
Yeah. So I just wanted to add my own viewpoint. I didn't want to ask any question because by the time I joined in, the negotiation and the sales pitching and the sales closing techniques were being discussed, and so were the pricing challenge. I believe being in the industry from the sales and marketing point of view, more than 20 years of my experience has taught me one thing, that one, in India, people ask for discount for no reason. As the gentleman Amrut had mentioned, man ka discount, right? So there can be any XYZ reason given to you to ask for the discount. It's just a habit. Let's just say, let's accept it. Second is, instead of justifying that I'm expensive or I'm not so expensive or I offer this value, what works for me, I would say the BNL Club actually is for this purpose only. My company, we ask our clients what is the value that they want to derive from this investment. It doesn't matter whether somebody is coming to buy the sari or a home appliance or a coaching course or any learning, any kind of purchasing. There has to be a value addition and the exchange of that value vis-a-vis between both the parties, buyer and the seller. So the moment you ask them, what do you think is the value that you are looking for to derive from this product or from this service, that's where they don't have an answer. That's where they stop haggling. Because the moment they understand what awareness level we bring them to, but if you start asking for the negotiating for the price, that means you are devaluing yourself, not the seller. It's not me who has to sell the course to you. It is what you want to derive out of that course or out of that service. So that usually calms down a client and they do not haggle too much for the discount. They just need some sort of comfort. If even if you, instead of offering a discount, we offer them some additional value services, so that also works beautifully. So that is another approach which can be taken. People can try that. Instead of offering the money as a discount, offer them additional value, any kind of service. That works very well, and highlight the value of that free service. So then they feel, okay, I've got something worth this much free. That means this is what the discount I've got. So I hope it helps. Thank you.
Yes, Shweta, you've highlighted a very important point, and that I believe is also a technique to kind of kill the negotiation even before it arises, where you're making the client speak explicitly what the value of the product is. So when there's an acceptance from the client, then where does the negotiation come? So very well said, Shweta. I think that's a wonderful technique that you have highlighted.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Jasir, are you there? All right, let's move on to Sudhir. Sudhir now. Sudhir,
Can
you
you
can go
hear
ahead.
me,
Yes,
Jyotika?
yes, you're clear.
Yeah. Yeah. Good afternoon, folks. Such a wonderful session, and thank you to Amrut and Abhishek for this wonderful session. I just want to add 2 points here. Is it okay? This is not a question,
Yes,
just two
please,
points over here.
please go ahead.
Okay, wonderful. So I just want to let people know that when you are trying to prepare for any negotiation, think from a negotiation outcome matrix perspective. So this is so important, right? So how you want the negotiation outcome to be, right? So whether you want to be a lose-lose situation or a lose-win or a win-lose or a win-win situation, obviously we are going to think from a win-win situation. So when that is the case, we as a negotiator should be in a position to compromise our offer. That is so important. This word compromise is so important. See, the other person who is listening to you, right? He is such a rigid person, or maybe he's having a negative mindset. We don't know, right? What really matters is both of you are the same frequency, and in order to come to that same frequency, you got to compromise a bit, and that is going to help you with your negotiation process as well. So that is one important point which I wanted to make here. Compromising, a little bit of compromise, that is totally fine to go in for a win-win negotiation outcome. And second point is, uh, I mean, you were talking about the unethical practices of negotiating with people, right? And one important point in that was gifting. And let me tell you, one important gift which I gave to another person helped me to get deals for my, for my business. And let me tell you how it all happened, right? So I was a speaker, in fact, and there was a speaking event which happened in my city, and who's the who of speaking folks from all over India and also from other nationalities came to that event. Okay, I was in my starting stage of a speaking career. I wanted to talk to the all those big people of the speaking industry. So this is what happened. So if I had straightly approached a person, a big guy, right? Maybe he's a big guy from other nationality or so, and talked about collaboration, he would have straightly rejected me without even talking to me for nearly 1 to 2 minutes. But this happened, folks. This happened for me. What I did, I just approached him with a book, with a book which I have written. Okay, it is about how to speak perfectly and in an online mode. So I just gave him a book. I told him this is a complimentary copy for you. Maybe this can help you with your business as well. And let me tell you, this conversation exceeded for 10 minutes. And finally, this collaboration happened. The reason why I'm pointing you this is if you are gifting any person which can be a value add to his professional career or to his business, he's going to accept it. And who knows? You don't even know. This is going to help your career as well. And finally, you know what? I ended up with collaboration with that foreign guy. Had I given that book, right, it ended up with collaboration. And if I've talked to him directly, it wouldn't have ended up with collaboration. So, yes, gifting a value will help you with your negotiation skills as well. Thank you so much for your.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sudhir. I think understanding your boundaries well is very important, and that's exactly what you have done. And it was a win-win situation for you. So congratulations to you on that. Now we have 2 more minutes to close our session, and I'd like to ask our speakers, both Amrut and Abhishek, to give that powerful tip to our listeners of what they can do when they get into a next negotiation stage or they get into an environment of negotiation. Amrut.
Well, to summarize this, I just want to tell you, let the negotiation be called the art of negotiation. Keep your process creative, be involved in it. It will evolve over the period of time. You will know your own strengths and weaknesses and have fun doing it. The best way to do business is by being happy doing it. So do that, and I'm pretty sure you guys are going to be amazingly successful. All the best.
Thank you, Amrut. Abhishek, what about you?
Yeah, so I think well said, Amrit. My tip would be one thing is be you, be transparent, and have your integrity in place. And remember, there is no one size fit all in every negotiation. There is going to be a different situation, different client. So you need to be very fluid. Do not go with presumptions. Even when I was mentioning that preparation should not become a presumption. It should only be an information that you gather so that you are prepared to negotiate or to flexibly move around with the information that you have, rather than going with presumptions which are putting you into an anxious state where you probably will not be able to have your peace of mind. So have your right mindset, be very fluid and very present and with your integrity in the discussion, rather than just going and let it go with the flow, like what Amrit said. Be very creative and look at helping your client with a solution which is a collaborative way of dealing and negotiating with the client.
Great Abhishek and Amrut. Do you want to add anything, Amrut? You just
Jyotika, I just want to
yeah.
say something.
Yeah.
Everyone who's here at any point of time, if you feel stuck somewhere, I am just a DM away. Feel free to just ping me. I'll be more than happy to help you. Just wanted to give something back to the community. Over to you.
Absolutely. That's what I was about to say. If you have any sales requirement or sales, you can definitely contact Amrut, and Abhishek is always there with his pearls of wisdoms to support you all. So please feel free to contact each other and gain in this particular skill, which is extremely important. Today, in the last 1 hour, we have listened to two most important people in the domain of sales and communication. We've also listened to our panelist, Sudhir. We have heard from others about their experience of negotiation. Now, negotiation is a bedrock of success for any entrepreneur, whether you're striking deals with investors, suppliers, or customers. Your ability to communicate, empathize, and find common ground will determine your venture's trajectory. Remember, negotiation is not just about getting what you want, it's about creating mutually beneficial partnership that can fuel your business's growth. So keep honing these negotiation skills, stay open to learning, and always strive to win win outcomes. Thank you for joining us on this journey to become a masterful negotiator in the world of entrepreneurship. I hope you all have enjoyed our session today, and it looks like we have to go in for a second session on the same topic. We'll keep that for later. For now, it's bye bye and goodbye from my side, and over to Kabir. Thank you very much for joining, and I look forward for another session. We have a beautiful session coming up tomorrow again, same time, 11:30 p.m. Indian time and 10 a.m. Dubai time and 11:30 a.m. Indian time. Over to you, Kabir.
Thank you, Jyotika. Great session. I think Jasser is back. Jasser, if you're there, I would like to give you 1 minute. You're there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm actually just outside. Thank you for this is a great session, and it was nice hearing you all. I actually had some questions, but I think, like Jogdika said, we could keep it for this next session.
Hello. Yes. Thank you, Jasser. And that is a great session. And thanks all for the 19th day, for all of you attending the 19th day. Negotiation skills. Whether you are an entrepreneur, whether you are a startup, whether you are a solopreneur. This is a skill which you will have to keep on sharpening. Take trainings, study it, build yourself, and become a great negotiator. Even make this a routine. Every 3 months, you go on sharpening the skills. Understand why you need to build your rapport, you have rapport building, and why study how to pursue people. Never let go a client, never let go a connection, never let go a person you know. You never know when you are opened with a great opportunity from him. Not telling that you have to undercoat yourself or sell to them, but in negotiation, when you're ending, if you're not even doing the deal, make sure you are maintaining that relation forever. And you never know, your next big deal may have brought by this person. Telling this, I would love to thank Jyotika for moderating the session, and Amrut and Abhishek for delivering a great session. With lots of love, and as I always tell, dream big, aim high, start small. Start very small. That you can master it easily, you can focus on it easily, and you are one day able to scale it so big that you are a unicorn. With lots of love, signing off today's session in a count of three. Three, two, one. Everyone can tell bye bye.